What's going on, everybody, and welcome to Let's Talk Money. I'm Nikolay Timoshchuk Jr., and today we are going to be talking about the Colonial pipeline shutdown. No more gas is being produced for the entire East Coast. 17 states, this is absolutely crazy, are affected by this situation. A cyber attack, terrorists came in, shut down the pipeline, messed everything up, and now everybody that lives along those states, that I'm going to be showing in a few pictures here and there on the Colonial pipeline map, you will see that they are definitely struggling. People are waiting in lines. People are struggling to get gas. People are afraid because they're having to buy the most expensive gas, 93, and they cannot afford it. Everybody cannot afford what's out there just because it's out there, and this is absolutely a crazy situation. What is happening? The Colonial pipeline has shut down due to a terrorist attack, a cyber attack, and someone's claiming it, but nobody knows who they are, obviously, because you're not going to expose yourself. According to a press conference and statements made by our president, Joe Biden, right now, at this moment, doesn't think Russia is involved, but he will be meeting with President Putin to discuss all things because a lot of cyber analyst researchers were reaching out to BBC saying that Russians were involved with the cyber attack. However, they keep claiming that they weren't, on any kind of political agenda. They were just trying to make money, so you don't know what's happening in the world right now, to be honest. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists and everybody talking. Of course, TikTok provides the news as fast as possible nowadays. A lot of people saying, listen, there's no way this was Russia. This has everything to do with COVID and the states that don't care about mask mandates and everything like that. Are getting shut back down because that's where everyone travels during the summer. And as you know, right now it's May, so everybody, from the north or wherever else, so everyone is starting to travel to the south, going to Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, all those different states, Georgia. People want to go see places, and then people that are in those states, they're not being any mask mandates all the way through Louisiana, Texas. It's people are saying that the government is trying to halt those people from going to different places. So, if there's no gas and then there's not enough money to buy the gas because of everything already going on in the world, what are people going to actually do? Now, as I'm discussing this Colonial pipeline situation, I will have to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, hit that like button, hit that share button, and drop a comment below so I know exactly what you guys think about this situation. I'm kind of curious what everybody has to say. I'm kind of curious to know what are people's minds are. Is it us? Is it somebody else? Is it the government? Is it a terrorist, cyber attack group doing all this stuff? I don't know. But go ahead, help out a brother and make this channel continue to grow. I'm just going to talk about the economic impact that this is going to have on everybody that's trying to do stuff during these moments right now, even following, everything that's happened with COVID and with everything that's been shut down because of COVID being bottlenecked into this moment right now. This is going to create another bottleneck because now, there's no gas. Now, as crazy as this is, this has affected 17 states. The Department of Transportation has declared a state of emergency for 17 states in Washington, D.C. It's absolutely crazy what is happening. I'm just talking about these states where I know people are in North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way through Georgia and through Louisiana and Texas, but this goes all the way through up to New Jersey. The entire East Coast is affected by what is happening with the Colonial pipeline shutdown. 5,550 miles of gasoline conduit has been shut down. This is absolutely nuts. It's crazy. It blows my mind that this could even happen in the year 2021. With the way the economy works, with the way everything is going, this honestly should never be an issue, but the way the world works, you never know what's going to happen. Imagine all the states right now that in the summer, rely on tourism, restaurants, people's livelihoods, careers, people that own these restaurants in, let's say, Louisiana, Florida, Texas, and up around the coast, South Carolina, Georgia, you got North Carolina. Just imagine going all the way up through there and understanding that, people aren't going to be able to travel to you. I know people right now that are actually along the coast are like, look, these gas stations are piled up with people. There's literally no 87 gas. There's no 89, no 91. You have to put 93. It's premium. So it costs like 50 cents more per gallon. And who really has enough money to spend 50 cents per gallon, when you budgeted to buy buy a car that used 87 gas and you can't afford that extra gas. And now you can't go places, you can't go to work, you can't do this. And a lot of people are discussing what all these different things mean, and I'm going to jump into that as well. So let's take, for example, somebody that does have to go to and from work, and they don't have enough money to get a full tank of gas. They don't have enough money to be able to, sit in that line and then pay for that 93 premium gas because there's just no supply. Well, the Colonial pipeline gets shut down, and all of a sudden, the economy on the East Coast, at least, is going to take a major hit because if there's no gas, people can't get to certain places. If people can't get to certain places, money cannot be spent. Well, that money is circulating from somewhere, and it needed to be circulated into the hands of the people that usually receive it, because a lot of people, rely on that tourism, or a lot of people rely on people in the summer, kids getting out of school, starting to go to their restaurants or stores or whatever it is, and actually making things like this happen to where, you can make money because people are traveling. But now with the Colonial pipeline being shut down, what do you do in that case? Do you shut your restaurant down? Are there going to be no tourists? Are people not going to travel for the next 2 or 3 months? And what is that going to cause for, people that usually travel along those interstates and all those highways and all those different places, and every restaurant that you used to stop by, and, people that rely on highway traffic to run a business or things like that, what does that do to those people? We're talking finances that, have been planned out for years, and business models that have worked. And people are like, I can't wait for May, June, and July, or whatever those months are for the summer. And now all of a sudden, nobody's coming through. Nobody's buying anything. Nobody's spending money at your, convenience store. All they need gas, and they're not even going to go because all of a sudden, gas prices are way too high. Now, tons of people are getting nervous. Tons of people are going out and they're just buying up as much gas as they possibly can because, you have a life. You can't plan out to, I'm going to be sitting at a gas station for 45 minutes tomorrow before work. So all of a sudden, everybody's running out. They're like, hey, I got to fill up my gas as much as I possibly can, the money that I do have. And they're just trying to do this. Well, guess what that's going to do? That's going to create another shortage on the back end because all of a sudden, the gas that is there is going to be used up in those moments right away. So imagine, everything is steady climbing and everything's good. And then all of a sudden, boop, there's a huge spike. Well, that means everything that's getting used up that wasn't accounted for, all of a sudden, that just starts a cycle that revolves. Now, it's supposed to start again. It's like planting a tree in year 1, planting a tree in year 5, and then year 15. Well, as the tree starts to grow, you can't just not plant more trees. You have to plant the seed again, and you have to keep planting and planting. So then every couple years, there's nice trees. Well, the same thing with this gas situation, with the Colonial pipeline being shut down for whatever how many days it was and everything trying to get back to normal, it's causing this cycle to not be able to be kept up with because people were still traveling. There's people that were traveling to all these different states that are a part of where the Colonial pipeline was, and these gas stations aren't able to actually receive the gas. So all of a sudden, what do? People are just panic buying. They're going to go out. It's like when COVID first happened and everybody went and bought toilet paper, and all of a sudden you couldn't buy toilet paper anywhere. You couldn't order it on Amazon. You couldn't go into stores. So when that shortage is created, now there's this huge demand and people are having to pay prices that are just spiked and absolutely through the roof, and it's absolutely insane. So what's actually happening? A lot of conspiracy theorists are saying, ho, 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 federal government, what are you doing? But nowadays, what is actually factual? Nobody ever knows. You don't know what's actually happening. We don't know what's, for the greater good or what's for good of us as United States citizens. You never know what's actually happening. Did the federal government shut down the Colonial pipeline on their own, to cause this outbreak of people not going places, not traveling? Because most of these states that are a part of the Colonial pipeline actually do not have mask mandates, and this is all a part of COVID-19. So a lot of conspiracy theorists are saying, hey, no, this is federal government. This is what they're doing. They shut down the Colonial pipeline. They don't want people going out. They don't want people traveling to those states and then taking COVID back to their states, wherever that is. And all of a sudden, there's all these different conversations going on about what's actually happening in the world. So I'm not sure what's happening. I'm just out here. I'm the messenger. I'm presenting to you information. I'm not even sure. It's crazy. I know people that are literally sitting in line waiting on gas for 45 minutes, and they're buying 93 gas instead of 87 like they could typically use, and they're spending crazy amounts of money, and they still have to travel and be in those areas where they are and continue to freak out if, they don't know if they can leave. What if they run out of gas and the next day and then all of a sudden they need to go back home and drive 8 or 10 hours, and they don't have enough gas to do that. So it's just kind of crazy right now to see what the world's going through, even with COVID, even with a bunch of different things happening in the world. You got people at war. I mean, it's just absolutely unreal. During a global pandemic, we still have all these different kinds of issues popping up that are just making people go absolutely crazy and nuts in the brain. Now, without further ado, I will have to end this video because I have absolutely no idea about what's going on, if I'm going to have gas tomorrow or not, or are people on the East Coast and all the way through Louisiana and Texas and all those good places going to have gas? Are they going to be able to travel? Are they still going to be freaking out in a couple days or not? Or will this all blow over just because, you know, the media got a hold of it? Who freaking knows? This world is absolutely crazy. But as we close this video out, let me go ahead and ask you to hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that bell, turn on your post notifications, hit that like button, hit that share button, and drop a comment below so I can know your thoughts on all this craziness happening in the world. Without further ado, I'll see you in my next video. Peace out.